Welcome, folks, again to Mike and Mike. We are delighted that you take the time out to join us. As usual, we'll ask you for your support. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a cousin, a family member, a friend, a stranger, whoever you can share this with. Would like you to share it and spread the word that we can gain support from you guys. We're going to jump right into a program. As you can see, I'm solo tonight, but the show goes on. They have a saying that life goes on in itself. So our show goes on without no one, anyone, the show goes on. Anyway, without further ado, as usual, Mike, aka Maga Porter in the house. So we are going to jump off. We want to start a little bit locally. That's happening, things that is happening here in New York City, where we reside. This is where the garage reside. And we want to start off a little bit locally because the structure of what's happening in New York election, it's in a technical sense, it's going to be statewide, countrywide situation. So we have a new mayor. I call him Kandadi because I think he conned the people out of their vote based on the misleading information what he shared with them. I would say the misleading information and the information what he ran on by misleading the people, sharing incorrect information, or just lie to the folks, just pretty much piggybacking off the New York vulnerabilities, people who are in a vulnerable state. I think that's what he did. Trump did it before with this war, with this racist act, with this wall. Then he came back with the economy, the second term. And, people are hurting. So I cannot really blame people to a certain extent because people are hurting financially. Mentally, that's a different story and other situation. But financially, people are hurting. And I know at this second term, a lot of people vote for Trump because he's a businessman and they think that he's going to bring back money. Money's going to flow. Society's going to be well. Economy going to be booming and so forth. And I would say this, what's going on? For those who voted for him, the Spanish, the blacks, the Haitians, the entire nations of cultures, what's going on? There's money in your pocket? Apparently not, because there's none in mine at the end of the day. And this is what I predict from day one. But most of you guys thinking, oh, you need a businessman to lead the country. No, you don't need a businessman, especially Trump. You don't need Trump to lead this country because Trump is drifting towards to become a heavy dictator. He's controlling. He doesn't like people share factual opinions. Oh, kind of a contradiction there, factual opinions. But he doesn't like people share with him where if they go against him, he's very controlling. And he wants to become a dictator like Kim Jong-un and who are the leaders, maybe Putin, other leaders out there who are doing the same thing. I think that's the direction he wants to go. And he's heading into that direction. And that's going to put this country in a turmoil. And it's happening. I've said it before, and I keep on saying it. And now, having some of my colleagues saying that a businessman is better to run this country, I beg to differ. You need a politician. Now, we know most politicians are corrupted. I will not say that, you have innocent politician. You may have it, but it's so minute in the circle that is almost nothing there. But at the same time, what do you expect? They are politicians. Now, the businessman, we know already his forte. His project, and his main focus is to look after himself. He's trying to make money. He's trying to make money from any angle, and he's going to think about himself or his cronies or whoever is in his circle. If there's other rich folks is in his circle or businessman, that's basically what he's going to think about. He's not looking after the ones who can find the next $20 to buy groceries or the next $15 to buy even a pack of a jug of milk or something to feed himself or herself or a family, etc., etc. He's not worrying about that. All he's worrying about is what he can get from your pocket. Now, a politician now, in other words, a politician now would look after you. They may still rob you to a certain extent, but at least they have some type of a conscience where they will still look after it to a certain extent. So if let's put a scale on it, let's put a number on it. Let's say from 1 to 10 with a politician, I would say probably about 6.5 to 7% they will look after their people, and then the 3% or so forth, or the 3.5% they will do their corruption. Now with a businessman, from 1 to 10, probably 8.5 to 9%. Or 9, they're going to look after themselves. That 1% probably remain of them looking after you, and maybe they do that because if society is putting pressure on them, they would probably do things to make it seems like they are doing something for you. But enough of that. We're going to come back a little bit to that. But let's stick to what's going on here in New York. And in other states, we know that are facing certain turmoils, certain situations that is happening around this country. But for New York, we have this mayor. I think his correct pronunciation, I give him a nickname, which Kandadi, as I said, because I think he conned the people out of their vote and stuff like that. But his proper name, I think, is Mandadi. You can look it up if I'm pronouncing it correctly and so forth. And he ran on a policy where he said he was going to freeze rent. Now, there's a $1 million rent stabilized system in New York. And according to what I'm understanding, and based on the information what I have, it's about 1 million New York rent stabilizer apartments, housing is in New York. And I think it's about 1 million people voted for him out of the 8-point-something million that reside in New York. So the question is now, he won with a fair amount, $1 million and change and stuff like that. Cuomo, I don't think that guy, I forgot the other third party that was running. I don't know why he was in the race. He just wastes time, because that 8% or that 9% what he kept, and people were still going, trying to support him, which they were naive, or I don't know if I need to use the word naive or just I don't know. I'm trying to find a word and search in Webster dictionary to describe it, but I am failing to find the appropriate vocabulary or appropriate words to describe him. It was pointless. So based on the schematics, based on the situation, the tactics, what probably he was trying to do, I'm not sure if he was, in a sense, kind of a supporting Kandadi at the same time, because the fact that he cannot win up until close to election day. Now we know that the polling, it's not an accurate structure. We know it just gives you an idea that what may happen. It gives you a higher scale, put you on a higher scale of what possibly the outcome may be. There was a situation, I think this was about maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. There was a local election. I'm not sure if it was New York or it was a different state. And I think it wasn't a mayor state. I think it was a different state. I'm not sure, but I gotta look it up again and bring it to you. But nonetheless, this guy ran. It was like the same concept with Cuomo. So he ran. He lost the primary in the sense of who they are selecting for them to be the mayor or the governor or I'm trying to, as I said, I remember the story, but I can't remember if it took place in New York or if it took place in a different state. But nonetheless, the structure of the story, what I'm sharing with you is that he lost the primary, he went and he ran and as an independent. This guy now was like, let's say from 1 to 10, he was like maybe 8, not 8, about maybe 5, 4 or 5 in the polling, right? That's the numbers. Comparing to the other guy who was like maybe 8, 9. On election day, that guy came back and blew the guy that was at 8 or 9 out of the water. So I was hoping that that was the situation was going to happen, but unfortunately that's not the case. But I think what pull back Cuomo and keep him stagnant or stationary at that specific number where it was like 40%. I think this guy, I just don't remember. I just don't remember his name. At the end of the day, my fellow partners here, Justin King Talks, that was his favorite politician again. But I did not follow to remember his name or so forth. I mean, you can beat me over the head for that. But because I didn't have no interest, it was just a waste of time. And one of the things I was getting from my colleagues, because he was, what was it? I think he was some type of local guardian angel leader or stuff like that. Kandadi is the same thing. They don't have any experience. Now, give and take, you have to start from somewhere. It's just like, you never have a credit card. You apply for something, they're like, oh, you don't have credit. Yeah, I know. I need to get, excuse me. I need to have, someone to allow me to have credit, because if you don't allow me to have credit, how am I going to build my credit? So you got to start from somewhere. Someone has to give you a chance. Now, I am not bashing him because he's not worthy. I'm bashing him because he mislead the people, and he know for sure that the structure what he put in place, the language what he keep on using, the tactics what he put in place to win these votes, it cannot work. That is my main problem. You lie and you mislead the people. It cannot work. One, he talking about freezing stabilized apartment rents. It's about $1 million inside of New York. Okay. How long you can freeze that for? You have these guys who are running a business. These buildings that are rent stabilized, the owners, people have to pay mortgage. They can't go and tell the bank, hey, listen, you know what, I can't afford this month's mortgage or whatever the case may be. The bank could give a rat behind. They got to find that money, and they can't tell them anything. So freezing the rent, I think one of the things, if he had come across and say, you know what, listen, when you're on the job, you have lunch break, you have a 15 minutes break, depends on the type of job you're working. I could understand if he had said, okay, you know what, we're going to freeze rent for a certain period of time. We're going to give New Yorker a break, whether it's a quarter, which is 3 months, makes a quarter, or 6 months, kind of pushing it, but something temporarily. According to what I'm understanding is that this seems like it's going to be a long term. Now, it may be not permanent, but it seems like it's going to be a long term. Now, how long it's going to be, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do some more digging on that. But nonetheless, it's going to hurt businesses, the tenants, the people who are paying their rent. Yes, maybe smiling for a bit. But at the same time, you have to think about other people, the business people, and we know some of them can be cruel and greedy. I get that. At the same time, some of them don't have no heart, no mercy, and stuff like that, and they need structure like this to control them. But at the same time, you have to put a balance in place where you control the greediness or I wouldn't want to say manipulation, but the greediness, the corruption from the business owners to the tenants, to make them feel comfortable and make them to continue to try to afford and live in New York State. These are the things what they need to hammer out and look into. Now, the second thing is that he's talking about free bus ride. Now, the MTA, we know that the MTA is a private-owned sector, and there is no way a governor or a mayor going to dictate. Actually, they probably can. But at the same time, I mean, Oklahoma, she's another one too, because at the end of the day, we have this what they call it, congestion pricing. Foolishness, number one. She, for one, when they put this thing in place, this is all greediness. When they put this thing in place, right? She, I guess, stepped out. I guess she was here in New York. New Yorkers was crime. She stepped out. She paused it. No, she paused it. She looked on it. I thought, she's going to pause it, look at it for a bit, and realize that it's going to impact New Yorkers tremendously and probably eventually dismiss it. No, what they did, or what she wind up doing later on, she come back out. It's like, oh, we're going to maybe, I think she takes some money off it or whatever the case may be. So now it's like $10 between a certain, I think it's 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. You will be charged $10 once you go below 60th Street in Manhattan. And after 10 p.m., I think they charge you like $2.50 for those late night hours between the hours of 10 to 5 a.m., I think. Now, what type of congestion is after 10, 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning? What type of congestion price is going on? And I've been to Manhattan. I've been in Manhattan several times, night after nights and stuff like that, where I pass through the areas sometime 9, sometime 10, sometime 1, 12 o'clock in the past, the present at times and stuff like that. And it's always clear as a whistle that there's no traffic, there's no congestion is going on at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Sometime when I go to see my boy or do some type of a business work in Brooklyn and coming back, sometime I used to pass through Manhattan before they put in this congestion pricing. And when they do constructions, I will go to the local streets and come up clear as a whistle. Take me a couple of seconds just to pass through Manhattan, different routes, no traffic whatsoever. But yet you're still billing people after these hours for congestion pricing, $2. I mean, if you had some type of a moral concern or some type of a compassion, you would have said, all right, let's say we're still going to charge you from 5 to 10. Okay, from 10 o'clock to 5 a.m., let's make it free. And then 5 a.m., we start again with this. But no, they still need something. This is foolishness. And this is why I said to you before that when this guy was running, he realized that people are suffering in New York and different, not just only New York, in the entire country and worldwide. But, we are talking about New York here, where we reside and, what's happening here in the political realm. So if you were concerned about that situation, why you didn't at least bill the folks, charge them from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then from there, from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. again, it's free to give them some slacks or whatever the case may be. People that live in Manhattan that drives out is paying when they coming back home at the end of the day. It's crazy. You're going to pay to go home. That is nonsense. So this is the thing where Kandadi, I am not going to stop because, again, it burns me to see that this guy put things in place or you run on things where it cannot be done. It cannot be done. Cuomo said it many times. Based on how these things are structured, it cannot be done that way. At least the way he structured it cannot be done that way. And he still ran on that level. And the people ran. People, you gotta think without emotions. Stop allowing your intellect to collide with your emotions. And this is one of the things what happened. That's why you put this guy in office, because I know you are hurting. I am hurting. Financially, I am hurting. But I have to think logically and practical with understanding and comprehension, knowing and look at certain things. We know that all of us don't understand politics. But don't remove the fact that because you don't vote or something like that, you're not involved in politics or so forth. You're born and bred in politics every single day, whether you like it or not. You are in politics. Voting and not voting doesn't make you not involved in politics. You are in politics the moment you wake up, the moment you go to bed, the moment you go on the street. You are in politics. You may not be hardcore in it where like we sit down and we study it and we try to cipher it and try to understand certain aspect of it. Yeah, you may not in that routine level, or you may not in that structure of level, but you are still in politics. So keep that in mind. Now, coming back to Kandadi's structure, where that's one of the things. The first one is the rent stabilization, freeze rent stabilization. Now he's putting for free bus rides and stuff like that. Now, according to what I'm getting, that he's gonna pay for this through raising tax, 2% tax on the corporation and stuff like that. But to my knowledge, now I'm gonna make a statement, and is not 100% facts to what I'm research on. To my knowledge, a mayor cannot make decision how they raise tax on corporation. I think that goes by the lawmaker, which is reside in Albany, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If you think I'm incorrect, I will do some more research on it, but that's based on what I'm coming up with my research. He has to be governed by the lawmakers that reside in Albany, just like Congress. Congress is the one that generates and create laws, right? So at the end of the day, you can't just get up and just make laws like that, especially to govern the state, the country, and stuff like that. They the one who put laws in place and generate laws in place or create laws in place. Same concept here in New York and the other states. You have a team, a head that will oversee these and create these laws. Kandadi cannot do this on his own, or cannot just get up and say, hey, you Microsoft, you Amazon, you know what, you 2% tax on you, 3% tax on you. He cannot do that. Again, to my knowledge, to my understanding, he cannot do that. Albany have to be the one that passed that, or the governor at least the most. Now, I don't understand how you guys really sit back and look at these things and not analyzing it, realizing that this cannot be done. You went out, you vote, so now we are getting hit from the federal level with Trump and his cronies with this bullcrap what they are doing. I'm gonna jump a little bit, piggyback off that a little bit in our segment. So you're getting hitting from the federal government, for the federal level, what based on Trump is doing, the shutdown, the tariffs on different countries where they're not engaging with him in applying the tariff, but he's going after them. The things what he generated in war, killing, blowing up these ships in international waters, even disturbing, according to the news report, disturbing. Some of these ships are cartels involvement, meaning cartel-owned ships or boats or whatever the case may be. Now, I think this government, this president is begging for some type of a war, some type of a maybe hard spite where they literally maybe started going after him. They already make a threat. I had him try to assassinate him. Good thing nothing did happen to it. But these are the things what he's doing now to put himself in danger. And not saying that our Secret Service and our members and our army and our soldiers and our government security, stuff like that is weak. But at the same time, anything can be penetrated. There's nothing on this planet cannot be penetrated, whether we get in or we have insider jobs or whatever the case may be. There's nothing out there cannot be penetrated or cannot be broken or cannot hack or cannot hit or whatever the case may be. May takes a longer time to accomplish it, but it can be done. So these are the things when I'm looking at it, you are disturbing and you are creating animosity against this country, towards this country, or against this country, because now you're claiming that these guys are heading here in the U.S. to sell drugs or to deliver drugs or to commit crime and stuff like that. Let's say that is true. They're still in the initial. I could be in, let's say I'm in your room. Let's use your room or any entity where you are, where you're actually sitting down or listening or in your car. Let's say you get off your car, you get out to your apartment, and you're walking towards another door. But by the time you reach in front of that door, you divert and go somewhere else, right? It seems like you was going to go through that other door. It seems like you're going to go to that person. It seems like you was, but somewhere down the line after, your intention probably was to go over there, but you're taking this route to get toward that side. Or your intention probably was going directly at that door or that person, but something happened, you change your mind. I said at least wait until they enter our, I wouldn't say airspace, our waters, our country waters. Then you from there now you can attack and do whatever you need to do. But even if they enter our waters, you don't have to destroy them. You can intercept the boat. You go, you have submarines, you have helicopters. We have all type of different technology where we can go and intercept and pretty much stop whatever is planned to happen and stuff like that. But again, these are the things where we don't look on, where this president is creating either a silent war or somewhere down the line, we are creating more enemies or we are going to create a war just like either Ukraine. That's what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. I mean, even though that war didn't base on what I'm explaining, but it's in the context of you may create something, some type of situation for us. But, this is politics. This is dictatorship. This is, you name it, all right across the board. It is sad. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And it's sad to say that. It's very sad. Where I'm coming from, my perspective on how I view these things and why I say some of these things, where it's going to get better, if it's going to get worse, or so on and so on. You know where I'm coming from. Some of our biblical, some of our practical, some of just analyzing what's going on and looking at things. So all these I take and I combine them together and I weigh the pros and the cons in the situation and look on the math itself within these policies, with these structures, and kind of make a conclusion of, what things is going to happen based on patterns, based on certain circumstances, based on some histories and stuff like that. So these are the things where how I, drawing a conclusion of what may happen, what may not happen, and so forth. But trouble is coming. It is coming. I as my partners always say, Mike, my other partner, and guys, why I always think negative? It's not thinking negative. It's just think practical and realistic. Because these are the things I can sit here and I say, you know what? No, I'm going to think positive. I'm not going to get sick. Or I want to get rich. Or whatever positiveness I can think. Does it mean it's going to happen? I can think all the positive all day. I can sit here and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die. I'm going to live forever. Really? Is that going to happen? So, again, thinking positive doesn't change any outcome. They have a saying that, based on your thoughts and based on your thinking, you pull negativity to yourself. Negativity is going to come towards you, whether you think positive or negative. We are living in a sinful world. We are living in a destructive world at the end of the day. Now, at the end of the day, there are certain things we can avoid. We can avoid certain places for going because we know that is trouble and stuff like that. So we can avoid certain things to do. We can avoid interacting with certain people because that may bring trouble. There's certain things we can do at the end of the day. So these are the things what we can pretty much isolate it and possibly avoid. But overall circumstances, we cannot avoid it. We cannot. I mean, it's just God's grace that we will be alive. I'm sitting here talking to you. Anything can happen. A building can crumble. Would I reach for that? No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I want to live a long, 100 and something years or maybe longer. The reality is that that's not the case. So I know it's like being a vegetarian. You know, a vegetarian, they're trying to get good diet. They try to live healthy, eat right, exercise, you know, to do good things so that they can have a healthy and live a healthier life. But does that mean that's going to stop them? Does that mean that they're going to live forever? No, they know they're going to die. But yet we still put things in preparation. We still do things that to enhance our life, to lengthen our lifespan. But we know we're going to die. But if I know I'm going to die, why in the sense I do these things? You see what I'm saying? Where I'm getting at? I know I'm going to die. So why have to go through all these processes to try to eat healthy, try to just live my life careless how I want to live it, right? Because I'm going to die. We all going to die. So that's the principle where I'm coming from. I cannot stop certain things from happening, but I also have to think realistically. I know that, okay, going on the street, anything can happen. But what if something happened? Like I'm going in my car. You know, you have a preparation. You have a spare tire. You have maybe something, a jumper cable or whatever, in case something should happen. You may lose power. Your battery die. You kind of have some type of a preparation, right? So you're thinking positive and negative at the same time. So you're thinking that what if this negative situation happen, how do I get myself out of this situation? You have to live your life in that context, because if you don't, then when troubles and situation hit you, what do? You're going to sit down, close your legs and fold your hand and just sit there and waste away? No. Some people do that in sense of when things happen, then they're trying to plan their way out. And some people plan in advance. You know, if I I drive a lot. So if I'm driving, what happened if I run out of gas? What happened? I mean, these guys were like, oh, well, but inside joke. But what happened if you run out of gas? What happened if you flat tire? What happened if somebody crash into your car? You can't drive the car, you have to tow it. What happened? You go somewhere, you run out of money, or you need cash or something of that sort. You don't have cash in you. What do? You know, you get the drift. I don't have to babysit it in the sense of explaining it T for T, but you get where I'm going. We gotta make these plans. We have to think whether it's good or bad at the same time, so that we can be objective, and we can make preparation and put things in perspective, or put things in place that we can pull ourselves out of these negativity when we do fall into them. Anyway, as I said before, our New York mayor, now I would say pray for our city, pray for the country overall, because now we are going to get hit from a state level, those of you who are living in New York, and then from a federal level, which everyone's going to get hit. Now, there are some states are doing okay, and there are some states still are in the same situation as New York. Just pray for us as we go through his election. And I trust and I hope that this scenario, what I painted out, this picture, what I painted out with Kandadi, I trust and hope that it doesn't go the route where I think it's going to go and what I predicting is going to go based on how he ran. He was kind of backpedaling before the election day, where he was saying that, certain things cannot be done real. I'm like, really? Now you're coming out with this after it's almost 1 day to election, you're coming out trying to backpedal this? So this is clearly known that he knows what he was doing. He was manipulating the situation, and he knew that people were hurting financially. And the moment they hear freeze this, that, you're saving this, you're saving that, people are going to run with it without thinking practically, logically, in any aspect. Because people are hurting. And as I said, I cannot blame New Yorkers too much for it, because he piggyback off these folks' vulnerabilities. Their people are hurting, so they're not think logically. They're not thinking practically. They're allowing their emotions to collide with their intellect. And so therefore, when they hear these things, they just get up and run with it. Help us. So kind of shift a little bit. We see Trump now, and his cronies. We are seeing where he's trying to redraw the election maps. So in Texas, a few states he have done that with, where he redraw certain things, certain areas within those states to give Republicans a hedge. And that would also create an additional 6 to 7 seats. So what is happening now is that the Democrats, who is my party, but I think these guys are so weak sometimes, I don't understand it. The thing is that you have these 8 nincompoops who decide to go and try to shut down, try to allow the shutdown. No, I want the shutdown to end, but let it end on the way that you and I, Trump is not going to take away our benefits or health insurance or Medicaid and stuff like that. He's not going to take that away. Let it end on that, because at the end of the day, these guys don't give a rat behind about you. You could die 10, 15 billion times. They don't give a crap. From day one, Trump want to remove Obamacare. Okay, you want to remove it, fine. Do you have a plan for it to replace it? No. He came back again the second term, trying to find another unique way now of trying to get rid of it at the end of the day. And so far, he's kind of succeeding because of these weak Democrats. And I don't understand these nincompoops. And this is why some people are shifting from Democrats to Republican, because we supposed to be for the people in itself. The Democrats, these guys are for the rich and for the wealthy and stuff and stuff. They have no concern about the middle class, the low class, or the poor, if you want to put it that way. The Democrats has this stronghold for those type of people. Now, at the same time, you still have to have a backbone that you're going to stand up against principle, stand up against immoral conduct, stand up against greed, stand up against all these hypocrisy what the Republicans created and trying to do. But no, they decide, because I can't fathom what's going through these 8 Democrats' mind, why they trying to side up with the Republicans to allow the government shutdown to end, and other people, millions of people are going to suffer if they do this because of Medicaid and other situation where the Republicans are trying to take away from the middle class and the poor class. So when all of that is gone, what's going to happen to these people? Or is the Democrat or the Republicans going to care about you? I mean, clearly they don't, because the bill in itself, at the end of the day, removing all of these things from you. So how are they are they looking out for you? The Democrat now is the one that does that. But at the same time, based on what's happening now, these guys are weak. They come like some thread, you pull too hard, you pop. And this is what's happening. And it's saddening. I mean, I don't see any time in the future, to change my party. I just need to change these 8 nincompoops, and any other weak sector within their infrastructure need to go. And this redistricting, which also is a great victory for the Democrats, because now the Democrats, they're not laying dead with this redistricting, and they started doing it in California and one of the states where the judge signed off on them. But it's not a hallelujah. It's not a hallelujah and praise God and all that stuff. Well, it's not a hallelujah in a sense, because yes, though they may do the redistricting here, but this is going to pick them up an additional 2 or 3 seats, while the Republicans are picking up like 6 to 7 seats. So they have to continue their redistricting. They may target Ohio, they may target Cincinnati, and these are the different states and stuff like that to help get the redistricting, which will give them probably about another 5 or 6 seats, so they can toe-to-toe and go at it with the Republicans, because the Republicans' intention is to control, so they can do their evil and their nasty behaviors and their evil ways, whatever the case may be. So this is what they are doing, folks. We are not in a good situation, but pray for this country. Pray for this country. Go out and do what you can. Just don't sit back and lay dead that, oh, I'm not into politics. I don't do politics and stuff like that. You have awakening coming to you. You keep on with that poor mentality thought and see what's going to happen later on in the future with you sitting there. Not, I don't tell you to go to school or to run for or become a politician. No, I'm not telling you to do that. However, you got to make some type of a change. You got to do something to impact, because if you sit and lay dead, these Republicans are not going to sit back and watch you laying dead and just don't stand up and watch you. They're going to come over you and probably beat you with a shovel or a hammer, making sure that you're dead for sure. So this is what you have to do. You got to go out there and make a difference. Whatever you can do, your voice is voting. Your voice is going to having rallies, petition against hypocrisy, petition against corruption, petition against some things that is not going to help you and I, the middle class, the poor, the ones who are struggling, overall. Help petition for these things, whatever situation comes up. If you have to perform rallies, you have to go on, demonstrate, or whatever the case may be. One voice, many voices, it will help and create an impact. Folks, is that all for tonight? We have a lot, but for now, we're just going to leave it as that. We pick up next week. Same time, same place. A little bit on our technology in sector. We know that open AI is coming. Also, jobs are being lost. Where AI is taking control, and companies are running on this wheel where they utilizing AI, and it's a bad and good situation at the same time. But, you have all this is coming, and then plus you have these bad leaders in power. What do you think is going to happen? Food for thought. Just think about that stuff and see. But people, you don't have to be fully breathing, eating politics, but be aware of what's going on in today's world, in today's time, whether in our politics, in our society. Be aware of what's going on. And we give a shout out and continue praying for Jamaicans, Jamaica actually, that are seeing good work. People are doing, a lot of artists, famous people are doing, making an effort to contribute and to help out Jamaica, to restore it back to our original state. And, I'm proud of that. If I could have given $1 million or $2 to, I would have contributed. And if I could have fly down and, lend a helping hand as well, I would have done that too. But, my prayers with them, my prayers usually be my physical action. That is usually my prayer, not just, I think sometimes in a certain situation, people use prayers as a cliche. Oh, I'll pray for you. No, I need help. I need a $5,000. I need $10,000. I need $2,000. Prayer is good, but at the same time, we need to do action. And for me, my prayers, as long as I can do it, my prayers is action. It's not just sitting, oh, Lord, bless him. No, the guy or the person need help. Here's a $200. I can't give you a $5, but I can give you a $2. Here's $100. Here's 50 cents. Here's some food. Here's a ride. I can take you to Brooklyn. I can take you to Queens. I can take you to Jersey. I can take you to Connecticut. I can take you to Florida, to lend a helping hand. We can do something. We don't necessarily have to, whatever we can do, whether it's physical, in any aspect. Prayer is also good, but as I said, just for me, that is my prayer, along me helping physically and also spiritually. Those are combination, and those are my prayers. But anyway, we thank you for stopping by and take the time out to listen to me, to share my thoughts with you, for you to, digest and see what is what, and just to encourage you to stay strong, encourage you to focus on what's happening, be a part of movements that's going to elevate society, that's into a better light. It's going to be tough, it's going to be hard, it's going to be rough, but these are the things what we have to do. Anyway, again, folks, thank you for stopping by us and stopping by us and listening to us and taking the time out to share your time with us. Hopefully next week we'll have our full panel again and back on track with our show, or with our situation or what happened. Our show still goes on, but at the end of the day, we thank you for joining us, and please stay alert, stay wise. Try to be focused on things, what you can do to participate, to help society better off yourself, your family members, etc. Please do that. Please share, like, subscribe. Please share, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell whoever you can, about our podcast. We are growing little by little, but without you, we cannot do this. So thank you again. And until next time, same place. Peace out.
All right.